put a fighter in your corner.
And Happy New Year, and we are back. Hey,
2023.
I know people have already worn this out with you, probably saying, Trip, I hadn't seen you since last year.
You know, I hadn't even heard that this year.
Oh, man, I'm glad I
But
got
I
it
haven't
out.
been around anybody.
You haven't been around anybody?
I've been hiding.
You've been hiding. You've been hibernating and you've been
I've
hiding.
been hibernating.
Well, Happy New Year to you.
Happy New Year.
How the
Hope
heck
everybody
are
had a
you?
great New Year.
Hey, Lady Mercy moved because she's in the way of us now talking. I think you might have moved up. Hey, Lady of Mercy, Happy New Year to you too as well. We're not crazy. We're just having a little fun. How you doing again, man?
I'm doing great.
You doing great?
Mm-hmm. I say I'm doing great. Let me tell that you mentioned it.
Okay.
You know, I had my nerve block on my back a couple of weeks before Christmas.
Right. I remember that.
Well, it worked great for about 5, 6,
Uh-oh.
8 days, and then it went away completely for 2 or 3 days, and now it's back like on fire. And then I ripped my shoulder, went and had an MRI on it last week. It's tore, my rotator cuff. So we can do surgery or we can continue to tear it up in rehab. So I'm going to continue to tear it up in rehab for a little while.
So you don't want them to cut on you anymore?
And not if I can avoid it. But, you know, particularly with my Parkinson's, you don't want to be in general anesthesia a whole lot, they say. So I've got my back project going and my shoulder project going. And it's just irritating.
So what did you do to your shoulder?
I ripped it lifting weights.
So you're still lifting weights?
Well, I was when I ripped it. It's been ripped for about a month. I mean, I heard it tear, and it shows a clear tear in the rotator cuff on the MRI.
Did you have too much weight on there, or?
Probably.
Okay.
I won't be doing that anymore.
Okay. All
As
right.
I said that last time I tore up my left one, but anyway.
Sound like that Dugan quarterback last night had too much weight on it.
He did have a lot of weight on him.
Didn't have a lot of weight on him.
Lord have
Well,
mercy.
man, I'm sorry to hear that about you.
Well, it's just one of those things.
You're 65, so you might need to, in the words of your mother, your late great Miss Walton, say, honey, you might want to slow it down a little bit more.
Slow down a little bit.
A little bit more.
Ain't no sense in showing out.
I got you. Now, so you've done a lot of that throughout the year.
Yeah.
You know.
I've done all that.
All you got to do is just put your boxing gloves and your little, what's the little thing y'all wear? The cape. And show out like that, but don't do anything strenuous.
Yeah, that's right.
How about that?
That's what I'm going to do.
You do anything special for New Year's Eve? Knowing you,
I don't even
since you
remember.
don't like
I went
people.
out to dinner,
Okay,
and I'm sure I was in bed before midnight.
okay.
And then the next morning, I had a sip of champagne,
Okay.
and I have not had any alcohol since.
Okay. Champagne,
So
mimosa,
I'm 10,
just
what's
champagne.
today? Had mimosas.
Okay.
Today's the 10th of January. I've been 10 days without a drink.
Okay. Is that something you're working on towards the new year?
Yeah.
I got you.
I just think it's poison. So it's sort of like when I quit chewing tobacco one day, I just looked at it and I said, what in the world am I doing?
I got you.
So I threw it out the window.
Okay, but you're just drinking a little wine though every now and then,
Drink
right?
a little wine, a little vodka.
Oh, okay.
I
So
mean,
I didn't know the vodka was.
I don't recall ever drinking to being drunk,
Right.
but I like the sweet. I like something sweet, so I just replaced it with a Zevia, which is a stevia-based soft drink, which
Okay.
is good.
All right.
0 calories, 0 everything.
Okay.
So, yeah,
All right. Well, good to see you, man.
good to be
I'm
seen.
glad to be here in 2023.
Absolutely.
I see you got a line item there. You want to give a shout out to, I'm pretty sure he's a good friend of yours, Sid Lockhart. He just recently retired, and that's the horn going out for him. Hey, celebrate him.
Yeah, celebrating Sid's retirement right here in downtown LaGrange.
Hey, go down there and see if they need a lawyer. They're disturbing the peace. Sid's been around a long time.
Well, he has been around a long time. He's done
Okay.
a good job.
Done a good job. Okay. All right. And then we'll go back to this massacre. We were.
Yeah, I watched the whole thing anyway. I guess
I
just kept thinking TCU was going to come back or do something.
I made a comment on Facebook last night saying I really don't have a problem with Georgia. I didn't have a problem with them last year, and I pulled for them last year. But I think what I really had the problem with last night before the game started is I knew they were going to get it so easily, and I didn't like that.
Yeah.
I didn't know it would get it that easily, but
I tell you what I enjoyed was Saban being a commentator.
that was interesting.
I enjoyed that.
Saban and Coach Prime
Yeah.
and those guys up there.
It was fun.
And I was telling my son last night, I don't even know how to X's the sound is stopped. But anyway,
Really,
a lot of you probably know a lot about X's and O's and football. I don't about the football, but just hear Saban talk. I mean, he's not putting him on a pedestal as a god, but he's definitely a football god, genius.
Yeah, he is.
And that's what makes him excel above everybody else.
Yeah. And Georgia's right behind him, apparently.
Yep,
Kirby
got the blueprint.
Kirby got the blueprint, doing good.
So you watched the whole game. I cut it off after the matter of fact, I didn't watch a lot of the second half.
I normally wouldn't, but I just, I said it was the last game of the year. I just kept thinking, I want to see that quarterback with TCU do something good, and it just never happened. It just goes to show you. I mean, sometimes you just have a bad game.
Exactly. And you have your bad game against your best opponent.
That's right. And Georgia had I watched them play every game this year. Their best game was against Oregon the first game.
Right.
And their next best game was last night.
Mm-hmm.
In between, they had some flat days.
Right.
But, they won. I was proud of their quarterback. He's a real story.
Yeah, you can't help but pull for a guy like that. And and that's
mean,
one reason I was kind of
But
hoping.
they couldn't run him off. They tried to run him off for years.
And he's that tall.
Yeah. But he is, he's on target. He's something.
And he represents a lot of the things that you always talk about in your motivational pieces.
Yeah.
You know, the determination, the resiliency, the not
Absolutely.
giving up, the staying positive. So you can't help but to like a guy
they say
like
he
that.
was running around the house when he was 4 and 5 years old, saying he was going to be a Georgia national championship quarterback. And he's the only one that thought that.
Exactly.
And he's the only one that thought that until last year when they told him to go home. Why are you back?
Why are you back?
And then now he's got 2 national championships. So
Yep.
that's why he's back. Because he
Okay.
knew what he was doing, regardless of what everybody else was doing.
Exactly. Got to believe in himself.
Oh, man. A little
Right.
college
College
basketball.
basketball? Okay.
Auburn got beat by unranked Georgia recently, but then came roaring back and beat Arkansas, who was ranked, I think, number 13.
Okay.
And, of course, Alabama, if you hadn't seen Alabama play basketball, it's a real treat to watch.
Okay. I hadn't seen too much college basketball yet.
Alabama is very good. Got
Okay.
some great fun players to watch.
Okay.
Now, Alabama's women's basketball beat Auburn for the 8th straight time. So
That's a lot of times
We've
in a
got to
row.
figure out something to do about that down there. In the NFL, of course, you've been keeping up with DeMar Hamlin. I understand he has left the hospital.
Yeah, back in Buffalo at another.
Yeah, that was a
facility.
fantastic story.
Were you watching that game when it happened?
I was watching it live. That was really weird.
I got away for about 5 minutes, and I did something, and I came back to the TV, and I just saw like it was a ghost town. I didn't really know what was going on
It was
at the
interesting.
time.
It was interesting. And more interesting, I guess, one real interesting thing about it was just watching how different folks reacted to it.
Right. Right.
And, nobody knew how to react.
Right.
So a lot of people saying stupid stuff, and,
I was listening to the commentators. I mean, man, hey, this is definitely unscripted here.
Yeah.
You got to
Yeah.
be able to talk, even though you don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
But their mood and everything that they showed and said, it just went right along with the moment.
It was interesting. All right, how about high school basketball?
Okay.
Auburn High School beat Central by 1 point, 56-55.
Okay.
Valley beat Harris County. Of course, your Valley Rams,
Mhm.
which you're familiar with in
Yep,
basketball.
I've seen them play this year. They're doing pretty good.
16-0.
Mm-hmm.
Lafayette beat Lynette 56-44. Lynette bounced back and beat Booker T. Washington from down in Tuskegee. And LaGrange beat Whitewater 57-52 over the weekend.
Yep,
Probably
we're-
all played again since then.
Now we actually got our next game tonight.
Who you playing?
Play Fayette County.
How's that going?
That's a good team. Whitewater was a good team. Actually, Whitewater had just beat Fayette County the night before we played them in overtime. So we'll have another tough matchup on our hands tonight.
Good.
So we might need to get you to come see my son play basketball.
need
Since
to
it's
do
not a really big crowd,
Yeah.
I know you're not coming into a stadium or a basketball arena, but maybe a high school game. You know, it ain't every day that Trip Walton comes to watch somebody play. He probably be really excited about that.
It'd be fun. I need to.
Good deal.
I need to. All right, we're going to do motivational today?
Are you just going to talk about Stetson Bennett? No, you don't. Do you only motivate? Do you motivational?
You think I ought to?
You got to.
Okay.
You got to. You got to motivate them in 2023.
The name of this motivational statement is, no one does the dishes.
Interesting.
This is a story from an actual teacher. Okay. Several years ago, this teacher invited a Buddhist monk to speak to her senior elective class. And quite interestingly, as he entered the room, he didn't say a word. So that caught everyone's attention. He just walked in and wrote on the board the following. Everyone wants to save the world, but no one wants to help Mom do the dishes.
Okay. All right.
We all laughed, but then he went on to say this to my students. Statistically, it's highly unlikely that any of you will ever have the opportunity to run into a burning orphanage and rescue an infant. But in the smallest gesture of kindness, a warm smile, holding the door open for a person behind you, mowing the lawn of an elderly person next door, or helping Mom wash the dishes, you have committed an act of immeasurable thought, because to each of us, our life is our universe.
Okay.
So, this is my hope for each of you this new year, that by your smallest acts of kindness, you will save another's world. And, you know, it's sort of like using somebody's name.
Okay.
A person's name is very important to them.
True.
So
True.
if you go in a restaurant and the lady comes over and says, I'm Janice, I'll be waiting on your day, and you call her Janice every time she comes, you'll get a whole lot more better service.
Right.
Because people need to be called by their name. It's music to their ears.
Okay.
All right.
That's a good thing. All right.
What you want to do now? You want to talk
We're
about?
going to go about the 2022 in review
in
for the
Walton
Walton Learning Firm and how they made it. I couldn't think of the rhyme. Sorry.
They give me these numbers and they wear me out. Criminal defense in 2022, which is what I do. We had 123 criminal defense appointments. 56 new criminal defense files were opened. We have a total of 88 total criminal defense files currently open now.
Okay.
Under my tutelage. Personal injury cases. We have 116 personal injury appointments that were completed. 80 new personal injury files were opened. 57 cases settled for a total of around $3 million. The average case settlement was $51,000. According to the stats, the average personal injury case settlement in Alabama is $24,000. So we're a little over double.
Okay, sounds good.
Right now we have a total of 115 total personal injury clients and 89 total files, which means that some of them have more than one person in the car.
Okay.
We refer out a bunch of cases. One of the cases we referred out, the firm took it and hit a $4 million settlement.
Okay.
So that's good. We refer a ton of stuff. Our average settlement number is almost double the state average, which we mentioned. We're averaging 2 or more new personal injury client appointments and 2 or more criminal defense clients a week. This doesn't include the hundreds of phone calls that come in that we just refer to other lawyers. 70% of Alabama firms in private practice handle less than 100 cases a year. Only 4.5% handle 150 to 200 a year, and we're in that 4.5. However, as people know, we don't take every case that comes in the door. Criminal work, you know, I wanted to make mention that we handle criminal cases, but we only do them in Alabama, and we only do them in 4 or 5 counties in Alabama: Lee, Chambers, Tallapoosa, and Macon, basically.
Okay.
We do not handle criminal work in Georgia. I just can't. It's hard for me to do everything I do in Alabama.
Don't need to add Georgia to it.
I can't add Georgia. All right, we got some viewer questions.
Okay. So basically, 2022 was a great year.
It was a great year.
A very good
You
year.
want the questions?
I got them. You viewer questions? Okay. All right. Thank you for the questions, and keep them coming. And this is from this person with this great name, Anonymous. And they're from LaGrange, Georgia. Say, hey, Anonymous, how you doing? I enjoy watching Kevin and Trip on the show. And if you're still taking questions, I have one.
Oh, we taking them.
They taking them because he can get her done. Trip, if an Amazon driver delivers a package and fall off your porch and twist their ankle, sue. Can they sue the homeowner?
Well, they can, but they'd be wasting their time.
I figured that.
They would probably have a workers' comp claim, assuming they're on duty at work at the time and they're not drunk or horse playing, and they just accidentally fall off the porch. That would be a workers' comp claim.
Okay.
You could get sued, but it would get thrown out pretty quickly.
Okay.
I don't think homeowners would cover it.
Right.
So, good question.
Okay. Another sue. You're the king of the sous. You're a sous chef. If you was a cook,
That's what we do.
That's what we do. We do. Okay. Another viewer question. Miss BTV, great job you're doing. And this is from Larry in Hogansville. Thank you, Larry. I watched the show with Trip, and I want to know about that fancy coat that's going to be willed to me. Actually, I wanted to give it to him. I don't want to will it to me. But anyway, that fancy coat he had on with the leather on the inside and the mink on the outside. And they want to know, where did you purchase that thing at?
I got that coat, that mink coat, at Hennig Furs in Montgomery. Mike Hennig runs Hennig Furs. His brother, John Hennig, has done 2 of my divorces. So I have good connections with both sides of the family.
That's why you got a 2-sided coat, because you got 2 sides.
You might got to move.
That was a great coat, man. I actually, during the holidays, I actually mentioned that coat to some of my family members.
Yeah.
Because I've just never seen a coat like that.
Yeah.
Can I wear it one day?
Yeah.
Hey, we might not get cold enough again to wear it.
Well, I was thinking maybe this morning.
This morning. Okay.
But,
okay. All right. So Hennig.
Hennig Furs in Montgomery.
Hennig Furs in Montgomery. All right. All right. Another question. This is from Adam in LaGrange, and they have a question. He has a question about Trip. What are your rights when you get pulled over by a state trooper? Do you have to show your license if you know you were not speeding? You want me to just read one question at a time, or you want me to just finish the question list off? Okay. Do you have to show your license if you're not speeding? Can they search your car if you say no? If they still want to search my car, can I call my lawyer right then?
Good luck on that.
Okay. It sounded like you were going to say that, but go ahead.
Let's start with the driver's license. In both Alabama and Georgia, if you're driving a vehicle and you're stopped and you're asked to produce your driver's license, yes,
right.
You have to produce it. In Alabama's Code Section 32-6-9, basically says that every licensee shall have his license in his immediate possession at all times when driving a motor vehicle, and shall display the same upon demand of a judge of any court, a peace officer, or a state trooper.
Okay.
That's Alabama. In Georgia, you're talking about Code Section 40-5-29, which says every licensee shall display his license upon the demand of a law enforcement officer.
Okay.
So it's clear as a bell. And that's the thing people don't really understand.
Right.
A driver's license is not a constitutional right.
That's right.
It was created by the state, and the state can make you jump through all sort of hoops to keep it. Like DUI, if you don't take the test, you get punished. So that's a good question, because people ask that all the time. So I'm glad we got that one done. Now, about searches.
Okay.
Searches on cars are a little looser than searches on houses. You don't go in a house unless you got a good search warrant, or it's not going to be uphill. Cars can be a little different. For instance, if they have a drug dog and the drug dog hits, they can search the car, even without the owner's permission. If the officer asks you to roll down your window and he smells marijuana, he can search the car for marijuana. And it's hard to find a stop where somebody doesn't say they don't smell marijuana. We see that almost in every single stop. But one of the biggest ways people search cars is people let them. They said, "Do you mind if we search your car? Do you have any illegal drugs, guns, or whatever in your car?" And I said, "No, you can search my car." I guess they always forget about that bag of marijuana in the back seat.
Oh, they forget about it,
a
huh?
little joint up under the front seat.
Uh-huh.
But yeah, it's but you can decline. If I say, "Can I search your car?" The best thing to say is, "No, you cannot."
Okay.
And it's all on video typically anyway. So if they violate you saying no, they have to have a legitimate reason. And then the court can determine whether it's a legitimate reason. If it was a legitimate reason for the search, you can't get stuff thrown out. If it is, then stuff will be thrown out of evidence.
Okay.
So the number one way you get your car searched on the side of the road is you consent to it. And if you're arrested, they can search the grabbable area, basically search instant to arrest. They can reach up under the seat, look in the wherever around the car for a weapon.
Okay.
But that's a good question.
All right. And next question. Somebody's curious and nosy. Well, and this is from Luann in Valley. She said, "I'm watching the Trip Walton show, and I'm just curious and nosy because I have been watching the Trip show for years, and I enjoy it. Well, we talked about what you do for the holidays. What kind of gifts did he buy? Did he purchase gifts for his ex-wives? LOL. What about his stepkids? Yes, they do watch your show. A lot of questions. How's the dog and how big is he now? I told you I'm nosy. Y'all said ask questions, so I'm asking. Have a good evening.
The only thing I really did for Christmas, it did involve one of my ex-wives.
Okay.
I took my 16-year-old stepdaughter and her mother, Jackie, and her husband, Randy, out to lunch on Christmas Eve, and then we went to the Shakespeare Theater to, what's the Christmas show? Not It's a Happy Life, It's a Wonderful Life.
Okay, okay.
So we went to the Shakespeare Theater and saw a play. Then I came back to Auburn from Montgomery and took my girlfriend out to dinner.
Okay.
I did buy all of my stepchildren gifts. They typically tell me what they want,
Okay.
and assuming it's not outrageous. Like my oldest son wanted a new pair of steel-toe work boots for his job with UPS. My 16-year-old wanted a bunch of Louis Lemon tight shorts and tight pants, whatever they wear.
Okay.
My other stepson he was in Colorado getting married. They went to Telluride, Colorado. So we hadn't celebrated Christmas yet.
Okay.
We're gonna have a big party for them when they get back. Other gifts I bought my girlfriend a barber coat and some workout clothes. Of course, I gave everybody in my office Christmas bonuses.
You forgot one. Oh, I don't work in your office. Go ahead.
So yeah, that answers that question.
And they're probably want to know why didn't your girlfriend get a chance to go with you when you went to the Wonderful Life with your ex-wife and your.
It's a good point. Funny you should bring that up.
Since they think like that, I'm gonna just go ahead and ask them for
Because my
it.
ex-wife won't ever let me bring any of my girlfriends with me.
You did say that a while back.
Yeah, she's like that.
She's like that.
She's stingy.
She's stingy like that.
Yeah.
So she runs the show.
Of course, take Randy, her husband. He's got to be one of my best friends.
And they stay together. I see.
Yeah.
Okay. Don't answer that on the grounds it may incriminate you.
That's right.
But anyway, they still together.
As far as I know.
Okay, they were in person together, so.
They were in
that
person
means
together.
they must be together.
We went to lunch on Christmas Eve, so yeah.
Okay. All right. I hope you got a kick out of that, Miss Luann from Valley. And looks like we got another question here. No, we got two more questions. This is from Betty Ann, and she's in the backwaters. And she wants to know how in the heck and why is Johnston Taylor not serving time for the death of Rod and Paula Bramlett? Of course, Rod was the broadcaster for the Auburn Tigers football team. I'm a huge fan of Auburn, but nobody is talking about how this guy keeps getting out and haven't served any time. Please explain.
Well, I can sort of give you a rundown on it. When the Taylor kid was 16, he was involved in a crash that killed the Bramlett couple, and that was May 25th, 2019. And like I said, he was 16. His lawyers apparently filed for youthful offender treatment, which if you're under 20 years old, under 21, so 20 or under, you're entitled to apply for youthful offender. A out-of-town judge was selected by the Supreme Court to come in and handle the case because all the local judges recused themselves.
Okay.
The out-of-county judge granted the application for youthful offender. We don't see that much in serious cases, but it happened here, and it was legal to do it that way. The person applying for youthful offender waives his right to a jury trial, and the maximum amount he can be sentenced under youthful offender is 3 years in the state penitentiary.
Wow.
He was more than likely, I don't know because it's all sealed, I would imagine he was more than likely sentenced to the entire 3 years, and it was suspended, put on probation. He has since then been arrested on 6 counts of possession of child pornography and tested positive for weed. Recently, a Lee County judge revoked his probation, so he is now serving time wherever he's serving time.
Okay.
So he is now in jail, finally.
Okay. All right. All right. I don't think we have time to get this last question in, or you want to try to squeeze it in? Or?
Yeah, we try.
Okay, we'll try to squeeze it in. This has gone viral, an 82-year-old woman. We got 2 minutes from Valley, Alabama, $77 for a trash bill. And they arrested her for failure to appear. Can you explain what really happened?
Yeah, it's my understanding she didn't show up for court, so of course they issued an FTA. They tried to get her to come in. Some reason she didn't. They just followed the rules.
Okay.
And sometimes when you follow the rules on something like this, it doesn't look good, and you know. But that's part of being in law enforcement and being a judge. You got to make decisions other people just don't have to make.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just one of those things. Apparently, a bunch of folks got together and helped her pay off her trash bill.
Oh, so that did happen.
That's what I
Because
understand.
Trish from Valley, Alabama
Yeah.
said, you know, her children should have helped her, so somebody did help.
Somebody did help her.
Okay.
It's my understanding.
Okay.
But nothing was done wrong by Valley, the police, or the judge, or anybody else. It's just the way it happened.
Yeah, but we look at an 82-year-old woman.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You just, you know.
Okay. Okay. All right. Well, before we sign off, if people want to get in contact with you to utilize your services.
I have no idea.
Yeah, I bet you do.
You can call 334-321-3000.
And that's it.
Or www.waltonlaw.com or .net. I think it was .com now.
You say just try both of them.
You try both of them.
All right.
You can always find me.
Exactly.
Most everybody has my cell phone, 334-524-5240.
That's why that question I asked when they said you call your lawyer on the spot. They probably thinking, you know.
Yeah,
you know.
that's, you know, most lawyers don't go out on 2 o'clock in the morning on the interstate for a search.
Okay. All right. Well, we thank you for watching, and we'll see you next time here on the Walton Law Firm Show.
We don't start the fight, we finish it.
Car accident, DUI, wrongful death? Contact the Walton Law Firm, 334-321-3000.